Hey everyone, welcome back to Bryan's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. I just want to say I'm so grateful to all of you and thank you for being patient and supportive. I know a lot of you don't know what's been going on with me, but I've been in and out of the hospital, which is obviously hard for any reason, for any condition. But it's exceptionally hard for me because I love making these videos for you all, and I love spending time creating them, researching them, doing anything I can to possibly help the families find their loved ones, helping with search and rescue, donating to the various search and rescue teams and nonprofit organizations. For those of you that aren't interested in any of this, you can just skip ahead. This is going to be one of Bryan's bedtime stories video because I have been researching a bunch of various missing hiker cases, but because I've been in the hospital, obviously I haven't been able to do as much research because you don't have your phone or anything like that. We'll be creating some of those videos this week and getting them uploaded for you. Today's video is about a young couple named Tom and Shirley. They were living out on the West Coast, somewhere in the state of Washington. I don't know the details. However, they're both living and working a normal 9-to-5 job. I believe one of them was a school teacher, another one worked for an engineering company. They both just wanted to move out to the forest and live sort of off the land, isolated. They just wanted to be away from other people, get away from the rat race. They finally found a place. They found a place in western Wyoming. It was just a cabin in the woods. It was a modern cabin. The couple decided to make it a 2-day trip. They finally made it to their new place out in Wyoming and they were just so overjoyed. However, the place did need a little bit of work here and there, so they made a list of everything that they had to do, supplies that they needed, got everything that they could unpacked. Although Tom and Shirley were both very smart individuals, they didn't exactly have the best plan set up for this, because just for example, when they got there, the electricity wasn't even on. You may be saying to yourself, that's what they said they wanted. They wanted to be away in the woods. Yes, they wanted to be away living in the woods on this little farm, just away from most people, away from the rat race. However, they didn't want to live a non-neoteric lifestyle. They didn't want to give up their phones, electricity, computers, their car, things like that. Now, this piece of property that they bought was situated on a piece of property that was shared with a neighbor that was roughly a quarter-mile away. It was several acres, I think 20 plus. And like I said, it was a small farm, had some cows, the neighbor had some chickens. Tom and Shirley were just going to be raising some pigs and doing mostly farming work. Now, for extra money, they were going to do some online things. Tom was very studied in online trading. He was very successful at that, so he was going to continue to do that just so they had enough money in case some of the farming stuff went south. Shirley loved farming, so she was very excited to get started with that. At first, their life on this new farm was really great. They had a great time learning how to farm better. They loved the outdoors. They loved being in an environment with no pollution. They really got along great with their neighbors too. Like I said, they lived about a quarter-mile away. On this one particular day, they had planned to go meet their neighbors, a gentleman by the name of Robert and a woman by the name of Sandra. They were planning on having dinner and then just having a campfire and having a nice evening. Little did Tom and Shirley know, however, this was going to change the entire move, and unfortunately not for the better. But they went to their neighbor's house as planned. They had a lovely dinner. During the dinner, at one point, Robert and Sandra told them this story about a hiker that had gotten lost near and around their property about 3 to 4 years prior. He was a young man. He was out hiking alone. There was a 10-day search for him. Unfortunately, they never found him. Both the couples had been drinking that night, so the next morning, Tom and Shirley decided that Robert and Sandra was just trying to scare them, so they went out and they started going for a hike thinking that they were going to go out looking for this young man that had apparently gotten lost 3 to 4 years prior. It was never found. They thought there must be something that he left behind, even if this was a true story, a backpack, shoes, a hat, something. They hiked around for a while. They never found anything. The only other daily communication the couple really had was with their postman. So that day when he came, they asked him about the story. He confirmed that this young hiker had gotten lost. For Tom and Shirley, it was just hard knowing that somebody had maybe gotten lost on their property, even though could have been 20 to 30 miles away. They just didn't know. And the way that Robert and Sandra, even their postman, had told the story, it made it seem like it was within maybe 5 miles of their property, even possibly on their property. It was roughly about 1 month after first learning of this story that Sandra was talking to Shirley one day, and Shirley mentioned that the night before she thought she heard people talking out in the woods. So she had asked Sandra, "Hey, were you guys out hiking or doing something last night?" Sandra assured Shirley that no, they both had gone to bed early. They didn't hear anything. This was very unnerving to Shirley because she had woken up. When she had woken up hearing the voices, she woke Tom up. He heard the voices too, so she knew it wasn't a dream or something that she was just experiencing by herself. Since they hadn't been living there that long, the next day they got up, they went over to talk to Robert because they thought maybe there were certain animals or trees, or maybe that Robert or Sandra had experienced something like this before on the property. However, just like Sandra had told Shirley the day before, Robert said no, he had never heard anything like that. He heard things like crackling trees and animals, but never anything that sounded like voices. Unfortunately for Tom and Shirley, that next night, they both were awakened at the same time, hearing something that sounded like whispering coming from the woods. They peered out their window. They couldn't see anything. They stayed awake for at least a half hour. Just sounded like whispering. They tried recording it, but they just couldn't get anything on record. At this point, they weren't totally terrified. They decided that they were going to get some stuff together, go out for a hike, looking for things, anything that they could find that could possibly make sense from what they were hearing. That morning they got up, they got some of their hiking gear together, they went out and they were hiking for basically the entire day, in and around the property, up to 6 miles. Throughout that whole time, they didn't find anything or see anything that could possibly explain why they were hearing voices. They thought it was going to stop. Unfortunately for Tom and Shirley, this continued on each night, even going into the winter. They started referring to this as the Watcher in the Woods, because at some points they could hear this person or this entity saying their names. Robert and Sandra started losing faith in their neighbors, thinking that they had folie à deux, which is French for crazy of two. However, Shirley and Tom assured them that they would even see this person or entity in the woods, creeping around, whispering, watching them. Sometimes during the day, they could literally see this person hiding behind trees, next to trees, looking out at them. They thought for sure that it was the spirit or ghost of the missing hiker that had gone missing the 3 or 4 years prior. Robert and Sandra assured them that they would search the property. They went out searching. They found nothing either. At this point, for Tom and Shirley, the only rational thing that they could think of was that it was their neighbors, Robert and Sandra, trying to scare them, possibly trying to scare them off the property. Not only that, this entity continued to haunt Tom and Shirley every day and every night. They could see this person or entity or ghost, whatever it was, hiding behind rocks. Like I said, at night they would hear whispering. Sometimes they would see shadows moving throughout the moonlight and the background of the night sky. Unfortunately, Tom and Shirley just got worse and worse, is reported by later Robert and Sandra. They just thought more and more that there was this person in the woods watching them, stalking them, for some reason trying to get them out of the property. Then one day, Robert and Sandra went over there and Tom and Shirley were gone. Their stuff was there, their car was there, but they were gone. They waited around, they called them, couldn't get a hold of them. They came back the next couple days, still couldn't see them or find them. They even got on their horses and geared up and went out searching for 2 or 3 days because they just figured that Tom and Shirley had gotten so spooked by what they thought was this entity as the watcher in the woods that they had gone off somewhere, maybe went out to try and find it. However, Tom and Shirley were never found. The police were eventually called in. There was a full-on investigation. Hours and hours of manpower were put into this. The neighbors were investigated. The post office worker, of course, was investigated. There was a full-on search for this couple, just like there would be for missing hikers, because the couple's van and car were left behind. All their stuff was left behind, so it appeared that they just vanished, or they'd been kidnapped or gotten lost. Throughout all this and continuing searching for months after by locals and other people, the couple was never found, and the house still remains there to this day and is sort of like one of those touristy type things that people try and go and find or camp near and try and hear the voices or look for the couple, that kind of thing. But can you imagine this couple moved from the state of Washington out to Wyoming to just get away from it all, and they had a good life going. They had neighbors, they had this little farm that they were running. They were both smart, healthy individuals. Then one day they just up and disappeared. So who knows what happened to them, especially since all their stuff was left behind, their phones, their car. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Because to me it's just unbelievable. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your support and feedback. Please leave me some comments. I love hearing from you all. Special thank you to co.ag for providing the background music. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with me to the end. I really appreciate all your patience and support, like I said in the beginning, and I'm sorry I haven't been able to upload more, but I'm still having some health issues, and even though I'm recovering, my breath is still very short, so just speaking like for 20 seconds and I'm out of breath. So I do apologize. I am working to make more videos and get them uploaded for you all, and like I said, I have been researching some missing hiker cases, which I'll have up for you soon. And I really appreciate all your feedback, your comments. I love getting the letters that you all send me. It means the world to me. It's made it so much easier for me during this tough time, and I just can't thank you all enough. For those that can and would like to support me, my information will be in the description, and I just thank you so much and hope you're all doing well.